Also, for some analysis, we're joined by political analyst Sysman Motloung. A very good evening to you, Sysman. Thanks for your time here on the SABC tonight.
Thank you for having me tonight. I'm glad to be with you and your viewers.
So, on the back of the KZN Provincial Elective Congress that wrapped up today, we saw the top 5 being announced. The implications they are, perhaps as we edge into 2024 and beyond. The re-election of Rodgers, what does it mean for the DA in KwaZulu Natal ahead of next year's national elections?
Yeah, I think as we've seen with the national conference that the organization wants that continuity of, would say, stability by re-electing existing leaders whom they feel very confident that they could lead the party into the national elections next year. It is very important to mobilize the provinces there, building up to the national outcome. So I think this is mainly what the conference was about, to ensure that they have that continuity.
Sysman, thank you for that context. I think just as we look at, whether Rodgers as in the leadership position is the right person to grow the party support base in KwaZulu Natal, given the Moonshot Pact, given the coalitions that had been announced, working together with the IFP. How would you weigh in on those dynamics unfolding as well?
Yeah, those are very important dynamics. If you look at that province, you realize that the IFP is emerging very strongly and displacing ANC in several wards where there have been by-elections. The IFP has been doing very well. It makes sense that the Democratic Alliance, fully aware that they might not have an outright win in the province generally, they would want to partner with the IFP. As you also understand, Steenhuisen saying they want to work with like-minded parties. I think this is what the strategy of the Democratic Alliance is about, to form coalitions that will ensure that they displace the ANC from government. Therefore, in my understanding, that is a very good approach, because if the party would want to go alone, it will be very difficult for it to win that province. It is not like in the Western Cape. And that is because of this element of a racialized politics that the Democratic Alliance is trying to overcome, that the electorate do not perceive them as a white party. Therefore, it is in that relationship of building coalitions, and over time, maybe this will bring that impression among the electorate that this is a party they could trust. In a way, it will be an option between IFP and the Democratic Alliance in that province.
Sysman, I'm so glad you've touched on the point, because we did speak to other analysts, where they pointed to the aesthetics, the aesthetic diversity, also the service delivery politics that it seems to come to the fore here through the DA. Whether that's sustainable or not is something we're obviously going to monitor. Perhaps we could look at some of the other leaders then that have made it into the top 5, like Dean McPherson, who was re-elected as a provincial chairperson. The new addition to the leadership, Stembiso Ngema, elected as provincial deputy leader. Would you say that this is a winning leadership configuration?
Yeah, for me, that is what you get to understand as an existing leadership, barring the new additions. What you see in the Democratic Alliance is this emphasis on meritocracy, people who are capable, and they also boast of people who have been in leadership for many years at a local level. So these are tried and tested, if you want to say, officials who will be coming in to lead the organization. For me, I think this is indeed a winning combination of leadership, and they have a clear understanding in terms of what they want the party to do, where the party should go in that province. And it is interesting to see that when you compare it with other provinces like Northwest, you don't see so much of a relationship between the Democratic Alliance with other parties in terms of a strategy of working together to displace, go to Limpopo. That's where the hegemony, the dominance of the ANC is really entrenched in Mpumalanga. Therefore, we can see that aspect of them trying to work hard on the KZN province and it looks like the prospects could be there and positive when the IFP is willing to work with them. You hear their strategy on going to young people. I think this is also what the DA has been neglecting for many years. You look at the EFF. The EFF has been very strong in among young people where the ANC has weakened. Therefore, it is important that the Democratic Alliance also to try to gain the votes among the young people. It will be with time to see how much or what kind of a strategy they have to really bring the votes of the young people. That is a very significant cohort to focus on.
Besides, when you speak about the growth in the KZN in terms of support base for the IFP and the DA, based on the by-elections, I just wanted to then look at whether it was a wise move on the DA's part to not have Christopher Pappas stand to be re-elected this time round.
Yeah, I don't know to what extent they appealed with him, or was it a personal choice? I think it was more of a personal choice on his side. Maybe they should have really persuaded him more, because in terms of that charismatic person and culturally is somebody that the black voters can really appeal with, because of the effort he has made to learn the culture and to relate with the electorate. But I don't think he will be useless, being invisible in terms of leadership. It is somebody who still shows commitment to the political party, and I think working the ground, especially at the time of campaigning, he will also be a significant actor in that process of national elections. In terms of representation, in presence, we wanted him to be among the leadership. I think this is something they really spoke about. I'm not privy to the internal dynamics, but I would think that they really try to persuade him to remain on board for a second term, but it is something else. But I've seen what he has said in terms of supporting the existing leadership, and it is somebody who will really, I think, put in an energy and an effort to promote the political party in the KZN province.
A rhetoric that came through, a narrative that has been pushed by the DA, is based on the successes of Mngeni municipality. The DA is confident of its win in KwaZulu Natal. It's Mngeni remains the only municipality that the party governs in the province since the 2021 local government elections. Is this a fair assessment? What do you think, the victory in KZN perhaps could also mean for the DA come 2024, perhaps in terms of service delivery, in terms of governance, etc.?
Yeah, this is also what the IFP has been saying. When you listen to the IFP previously, they've been telling off municipalities that they control and appeal to the electorate that entrust us with more and we will do better. And I think depending on how the IFP has been reaching out to the communities, you see them making that upward turn. And the Democratic Alliance is just like here in Gauteng, Midval. They talk about Midval, in Gauteng, they would always say, that is one municipality there south. And they always say, we have a good government in Midval and trust us with more. That is the best they can do, to show forth what they are doing and try to convince the electorate that should you give us more territory, we will bring a better record similar to what we have been doing. And then that is contrasted absolutely with what the ANC has been doing. That rational appeal to the electorate, it will be something that is also met with skepticism, but that is the best they can bring from the books in that province. And hopefully that could work. We've seen, like I said earlier, IFP also tried to work that way, and we see the positive outcome in that regard. So it is them messaging or packaging their message very well, and then appealing to other wards and other municipalities to say, bring us also in and we'll bring a good message for you, or we'll give a story and a turnaround in terms of a local government.
Sysman, thank you for your time here on the SABC. Sysman Motloung, he is a political analyst weighing in the back of the DA's KZN Provincial Elective Congress that wrapped up a little earlier on today. It follows the federal Congress that took place a few weeks ago, converging at the Durban ICC, about 500 delegates, electing after 2 years new leadership for the province. As we saw some of the results coming in, Francois Rodgers, provincial leader, Stembiso Ngema, deputy provincial leader. Again, we'll see how these dynamics impact decisions going forward as we edge closer to the 2024 national elections set to take place next year. Again, thank you to Sysman for his time.